Speaker.
5-minute call, Reno Tidakatni.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to respond to the Prime Minister's statement, and naturally I'm standing to oppose the statement, sir. But before I launch into that, I would like to just join with my colleague, Mr. Shearer, there in responding to Ms. Barry's waxing lyrical on about the big goals of biodiversity in her portfolio. And I always pause because Mr. Shearer said, you know, he couldn't hear the birds in Tai Tokerau, and that is a sad fact. And I think of the slaughter of the 4 takahe on Maungatapu Island under this minister's watch by the Deerstalkers Association. That's another reason, not only underfunding, but incompetent minister to bring in amateur deerstalkers who wiped out 30% of one of the most endangered species in one fell swoop. So that's the great achievement from that minister right there. But, sir, I'd like to switch to the Prime Minister's statement. And if people are confused sitting at home as to what was in that statement, they've got a very good point, because we've got a minions of a chorus line here waxing on about what their prescripted lines are. But what I would say, sir, is that the Prime Minister gave 2 speeches. There is a very thin document of what is the actual statement, but what he actually delivered in the House was just his normal court jester routine. And sir, so no wonder the public at large are confused by this government. And I think you know, there's so much spin that is going on that we need to really break through. We need to break through the spin from this national government, because we hear things, sir, like a better public service, a sharper, leaner, more competitive public service. And, sir, what that really means is that, and I want to give an example of my own portfolio area in customs. And what that really means is understaffing, under-resourcing, and a front line of our border in disarray. That's really what that means, because, and I can give examples. Sir. We are seeing frontline customs officers taken off duty. They are there to actually screen passengers, but what we're seeing is hundreds of passengers coming through Auckland Airport, and only 7 customs officers are there to process 200 passengers an hour. 2,000 passengers an hour. It just that is an example of mismanagement, not only from the department but also the minister. But, sir, it gets even worse than that, because what is happening, and we had Mrs. Collins earlier on talking about the great achievements that now that she's back on deck in the law and order arena. But what that actually means is that we are not only under-resourced at the border, but we are seeing a flood of illicit drugs coming into our country. And Mrs. Collins herself said that 330 kilos of methamphetamine was intercepted last year. What is actually happening is that is what is caught, but actually only 1 in 10 incidents are actually caught at the border. And so we could extrapolate that number out and say that there was 3 tonnes of methamphetamine that came into the country, and we can actually back that up true. So that's an actual failure on this government, who came in 2007. They were campaigning about how they want to crack down on crack down on the scourge. Well, that's an actual failure there, and the government has admitted it themselves. The Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet has admitted that the availability and the usage and the purity of P is on the rise. So there's a complete failure there. And the Department of Health is also saying that the usage among average Kiwis has not changed. It's right up there, and it's above the international average. So there's a failure right there from the government, sir, and we are seeing that. But what that does, though, sir, is it cuts across, and it's damaging to our communities. It's prolific. And, you know, that's one more thing which is hurting communities at large, people that want to feel safe, people that want to expect the Kiwi dream of being safe in their communities, safe in their households. But what we're seeing, sir, is the actual opposite. from this government. They don't care about the communities at large. They don't care about the people who are struggling to buy a house, people that are being turned away by our health system that's overstretched, the thousands of children that are in poverty. And that's really a sad indictment on this government, and that's what our country is subjected to today. And, sir, I oppose the Prime Minister's statement.